Hello, I'm Debbie Bell Hosking for FinextraTV here at Cybos in London, and I'm talking to Christof Hofmann of Deutsche Bank. Hello, Christof.
Hi, Debbie.
Great to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
My first question is, what is driving the demand for instant payment schemes globally?
So, first of all, as you rightly point out, it's a global trend. We have more than 50 instant payment schemes now being live across the globe. And what we typically see is that the demand is initially driven by the person-to-person payments and then as well by the business-to-consumer payments, not so much on the business-to-business payments. Why is that the case? Because the business-to-consumer payments, that's really where it's about making a difference to the consumer experience, really a real difference in terms of how the client experience is. Let me give you maybe two examples. So, let's think about an insurance company where it's around paying out claims quickly. You have an accident, you need money fast to repair your car, and you get the money instantly from your insurance company. Or there's nearly, you can say, as a second example, a race of online shops to say, if you return your goods, how fast are the funds returned to your account? And that helps the shops to really, because people redeploy the funds, they spend again the money, and it's a great client experience. And that's where we see the use cases primarily in the beginning.
So how does that then improve corporate cash flow or liquidity management?
I would say the honest answer is, at the beginning, very little. Because yes, there's an advantage. It does improve the liquidity inflows clearly. If somebody is paying by credit card or by a regular bank transfer, it can take a few days until the merchant has the funds. If somebody is paying by instant payments, you have the funds right away, within seconds. But in terms of overall corporate cash management, I think it has the potential to improve it, to accelerate really the move of funds, and to as well help for intraday, real-time cash concentration and all those topics. But that's a bit more still music of the future, because many of the instant payment schemes still have amount thresholds, like SEPA Instant 15,000 euros, other schemes similar, which makes it not yet fully adequate for corporate use. But that is changing. The amount thresholds are raised, and there's, for example, SEPA Instant is now going to 100,000 euros. And we, as Deutsche Bank, for example, in a closed user group, go up to 1 million. So then it starts being really relevant as well for corporate B2B purposes.
And would you say the industry has fully embraced open banking and API, or is there a lethargy?
I would say it's a mix, right? I can say we, as Deutsche Bank, have fully embraced it. For us, we have, for example, open banking PSD2, we had to open up our interfaces, our infrastructure to third-party providers, but we've as well used it ourselves. So we have our own Deutsche Bank request-to-pay offering, and that request-to-pay offering is based on an open banking architecture. So we clearly embraced it, and by the way, it's implemented via APIs. And it's very important as well for us in our roadmap to provide API solutions to our clients. But there might be other banks who don't focus as much on it, because it depends as well what your client portfolio is like, right? Many of the traditional corporates, they have their bank connectivity established. They are not replacing that with API tomorrow. It really is, for me, the API provide benefit where you need to have this real-time interaction. But to send your standard cross-border payment to your bank, you don't need an API necessarily.
And how significant a development is Swift GPI, and how can corporates really benefit from it?
So that's now the opposite side of the spectrum, which is, I think, very interesting, because that is Swift GPI is really embraced by classical B2B corporates. It helps them really to overcome this decade-old issue of intransparency in cross-border payments. Payments can be tracked and traced, like you have your shipment which you ordered somewhere online to your house and you know where it is. And that clearly helps tremendously to release people of manual investigations, both on the corporate side, but as well on the bank side. And that's why it is a huge interest in the treasury community, to our experience. How can they use it? The second part of the question. I think that's a nice thing. It depends on how big the demand is. If they have just the occasional need to follow up and track a payment, they can easily use the bank portal without any change on the corporate side. Or they can choose to use what is called the pay and trace solution of Swift GPI, which means it's then fully integrated into their system infrastructure, and they have the full transparency in their enterprise resource planning or treasury management system at their fingertips. So it depends on the need and on the demand the corporate has.
Christof, thank you. That's been a really interesting conversation.
Thank you.